you know what? This hearing is actually the best example of what waste, fraud, and abuse looks like, because the only reason we're having this hearing is because somebody got their feelings hurt in a debate, and I don't understand why we're wasting taxpayer dollars. Next time, tell your big boy to show up and be ready to handle the woman in the room who hopefully will become the next president of the United States.
Do you know why those costs have increased?
I didn't ask you a question. The final thing that I will say is that this election is the best example of why y'all are so afraid of diversity, equity, and inclusion, because then you can't have a simple-minded, underqualified white man somehow end up ascending. Instead, you've got to pay attention to the qualified black woman that is on the other side. And with that, I will yield.
Jasmine Crockett just threw down the gauntlet in today's House Judiciary Committee, rightly putting Republicans in their damn place. And it is a beautiful sight to behold. Because apparently Republicans called this hearing to try and trash Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's policies, and Jasmine Crockett was having absolutely none of it.
Nevertheless, while we do have two amazing authors from Project 2025, which it seems like everybody got the memo, like, yes, I'm going to double down and say it's my thing, but I'm going to make sure I also say that it ain't our homeboys thing, because we know that it doesn't poll very well with the American people, because the American people are woke enough to recognize that there is nothing good in it for them. So with that being said, Ms. Perryman, I'm just curious, and this is yes or no. Is Trump's name ever mentioned in Project 2025? Yes or no? Just yes or no. I got you. I got you. Okay. 5 times.
I haven't counted.
Oh, okay. Well, if I told you that his name is mentioned approximately 312 times, would you have any reason to dispute that?
I don't have any reason.
Okay, thank you very much. So,
my God, I love this woman. And for what it is worth, that is how you ask for a yes or no answer. Unlike the racist Republicans playing stupid racist games and winning stupid racist prizes on the other side.
I think it's exceptionally disappointing that you're looking at an Arab American witness before you and saying you support Hamas.
You know what's disappointing to me?
I do not support Hamas.
Bring yourself
I do
to
not
say
support Hamas.
You don't support UNRWA. You don't support Hamas. You don't.
I was very clear in my support for UNRWA.
Hezbollah, and you don't support Iran. You should hide your head in a bag.
It's interesting that we want to try to pretend. We're not going to pretend in here. We're going to work with facts and not fiction. So I also want to talk about inflation really quickly with you, Ms. Perryman, because we've talked about it a lot. I'm just curious to know, is the inflation that we just struggled through, was that global or was that limited to the United States?
Global.
Global. Seemingly, it was attached to this thing called the global pandemic. Is that correct?
That is my understanding.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't just the United States.
No.
Okay, so it wasn't just a matter of the Biden-Harris administration and the United States is struggling, right?
I think the United States actually fared better than the rest of the world.
Oh, yeah. In fact, we are, correct?
I think so, yeah.
All right, but inflation still hurts, and so that's why we have a candidate that has an actual plan instead of concepts of a plan.
So just a yes or no, you still do not have a plan?
I have concepts of a plan.
Or as I like to say, Trump only has offered concepts of constitutionality mixed with coordinations of a coup. But nevertheless, we're going to move on. I want to talk about the internet really quickly because we wanted to talk about the internet. Actually, let me talk about the border real fast, and then we can talk about Texas in this way. I'd ask for unanimous consent to admit this article from The Hill that says Trump says, blame it on me if border bill fails. I'd also ask for unanimous consent to admit this article from the USDA.gov. USDA officials attend groundbreaking to expand high-speed internet access in rural Texas, dated March 7th, 2024, Italy, Texas.
Without objection, so ordered.
Thank you so much.
With respect, that was not the testimony.
Oh, I thought you said no dollars had been spent.
The largest single program.
My question is, did you not say
$42 billion.
Okay.
0 houses have been connected. There are other federal programs, including Trump-era ones, that right now are turning dirt and connecting.
Okay, so just to be clear, because I don't want the American people to be confused, because I was confused, because it almost seemed as if, considering the fact the name of this hearing is the failed policies, as if nothing had been done. But to clarify for those that are watching, you aren't saying that no dollars have been spent as it relates to rural broadband dollars under the Infrastructure Act, correct?
To be clear, For the signature effort, 42
Yes or
billion
no?
dollars,
Have any dollars been spent?
not a
$1.
single person has been connected. There's
That's
other
not my
programs,
question though. My
but they
question
have
was,
their own
have
sets
any?
of issues. Senator Ted Cruz from
Okay,
Texas
I'm
put out
gonna
a
move on.
report
I'm gonna
that
move
showed
on.
that
I'm reclaiming my time at this point.
many of these
I'm
bills, it's
reclaiming my time, which means, Chairman, I'm gonna
$100,000
ask
per
you to
location.
stop my time because the witness is not.
Are you asking him a question, or are you?
No, I'm
reclaiming
not
your
asking
time?
him a question. I reclaim my time.
All right. The chair recognizes Ms. Crockett.
Okay, now I was at 41, y'all, so go back up.
Damn, she is manhandling him harder than an offensive lineman.
Here's the deal. You've testified a lot about the problem with the broadband rollout being diversity, equity, and inclusion. You said DEI, I don't know how many times, which is one of the issues that Project 2025 takes issue with. But it's interesting to me because I have another article from the Texas Tribune, and it actually specifically states that internet providers say they are simultaneously hopeful and skeptical about whether the incoming federal dollars will be enough to connect the most underserved Texans. Historically, other federal rural broadband funding programs have seen limited success because many companies who committed to providing broadband went into default after radically underestimating their cost. It doesn't say anything about diversity. And the final thing that I will say
Do you
is
know why
that
those
this
costs have
election,
increased so
I didn't ask you a
substantially?
question. The final thing that I will say is that this election is the best example of why y'all are so afraid of diversity, equity, and inclusion, because then you can't have a simple-minded, underqualified white man somehow end up ascending. Instead, you've got to pay attention to the qualified black woman that is on the other side. And with that, I will yield.
Holy I think homeboy over here needs some new insurance because he just got wrecked. And aside from that incredible clapback at the end there and the epic Project 2025 digs, she was also spot on about the incredible recovery the US economy has had under Joe Biden, while talking over the stock tickers climbing their way further into the green. Which is incredibly noteworthy because just today, shares of the Trump media company that owns Truth Social hit a new post-merger low. And as if that wasn't hilarious enough, this happened on the same day that Donald Trump is expected to be allowed to start selling his nearly $2 billion stake in the ownership of the Truth Social platform. He owns nearly 57% of DJT's outstanding shares, and that stake at Thursday's closing price was worth nearly $1.7 billion, almost half of Trump's estimated on-paper net worth. So for once, he's not lying about being a billionaire, though he may not be one for very long if this trend and his trend of legal fees continue on their current courses, meaning all the maggots will likely be stuck holding the bag, whether it's out of blind devotion to their demagogue or out of an understanding of economics about as sophisticated as Trump's.
A tariff is a tax on a foreign country. That's the way it is, whether you like it or not. A lot of people like to say, oh, it's a tax on us. No. It's a tax on a foreign country. It's a tax on a country that's ripping us off and stealing our jobs.
And even though Trump said last Friday that he has no plans to sell his stake, which initially sent the stock soaring higher, though it has since given up those gains, we all know Trump lies more than he shits his pants. And with the writing clearly on the wall, and the other 43% of shares still outstanding, other company insiders might try to cash in as soon as they get a chance to do so, or at least they would if they were smart. So whether it's in his campaign life, his personal life, or his financial life, I think Trump would be best off heeding the wise words of Jasmine Crockett.
This election is the best example of why y'all are so afraid of diversity, equity, and inclusion, because then you can't have a simple-minded, underqualified white man somehow end up ascending. Instead, you've got to pay attention to the qualified black woman that is on the other side. And with that, I will yield.
Thanks for watching, folks. For Really American, I'm Kenny Hesse, and I'll see you all in the next one.